Alright, we are here in, I guess this would be considered Valparaiso, Indiana, at the Northern Indiana Historical Power Association grounds. Actually, I think this is more than just their grounds. I think they do some other stuff here too, but it's their grounds for the weekend. We're just going to kind of do a quick speed run. We've already been through everything, hoping that if we walked lightning bolt around there, she would calm down, and it didn't. Although she's doing a little better, she's still not calmed down. But their feature tractor this year is Cockshut Co-op, and they're hosting the Indiana Cockshut Co-op Association, I think, Jamboree, which the tractors are up there behind us. We'll go check them out here in a minute. But WD-45 diesel, did not see that on the first walkthrough. Easiest way to tell a WD-45 diesel, 6-cylinder diesel, they had to move the grill forward so you can't see as much of the chin. And then this little McCormick Deering corn husker shredder is, I don't know what vacuum chamber they pulled this thing out of, but she is immaculate. Basically, you'd throw whole corn stalks in here, like if you went through with a binder and you bound your corn, you throw an entire bundle of corn in there and it would shred the stalks, husk the ears. It would spit the husklage out that pipe, and your ears would come out that pipe. I mean, this thing is in amazing condition. And it's behind a little F12. But like I said, we're just gonna do kind of a speed round here. So if you see something you want, just pause and look at it for a minute. .806 gas. Get the fuel truck out, boys and girls. Toro, I think they called these a Groundsmaster. Oh, General. I probably haven't been down to this show. We had just got my 66, because I think last time we were down here we didn't have the rims painted yet, so I would have been in, shit, what grade would I have been in? I was 8, so that would have been like 1st or 2nd grade, I think. 2nd grade? Maybe it was 3rd grade. Maybe I was in Miss Benjamin's class. I'm pretty sure I was in Miss Benjamin's class. I might have been 3rd grade. This old 88 is straight. Looks like everything on its original paint except the wheel weights. It's got steps, Gen 3 remote hydraulics. Although it's an earlier tractor, still got band brakes on it, not disc brakes. So the hydraulics have been added. And he's pulling a 4240 plow, and you know it's a 4240 because 4240s have 2 beams going to the drawbar. A 4340, this beam would go all the way up to the drawbar. So 4240, 2 beams, 4340, 3 beams. This 88's got Wheatland dust shields on it, which you could also order those on a row crop. They weren't necessarily specific to a Wheatland. You just don't necessarily always see them on a row crop. Is that a 12 or a 14? That one might be, nope, that's a 12. But the cool thing about this show is it's kind of like a little mini Ran tool, because they do field demonstrations too. They're picking corn here. They got a spot back there where they've started moldboard plowing, but I think most of the demonstrations take place later in the day. But it's like a 50 pulling a 2-row New Idea picker, although he's only taking 1 row at a time because they planted their corn on narrow rows. Nope, is that a 60 or a 50? Nope, that's a 60. But they pick it, and then they got a mock corn crib set up there, which we'll go look at here in a little bit. And all this equipment here along this row belongs to the club. There's a, I can't remember if this is a McCormick Deering or a Deere. Yep, McCormick Deering binder. A little pull type grader. This rake is throwing me for a loop. It's an Oliver rake, and it's got features of a number 2, but not all of them, because the number 2 has multiple holes along this front angle where you can move your drawbar left and right. It's got the dust shield, or the windshield, over the front of the rake. This is shaped different to allow for the windshield, and the rear wheels are closer together. So I honestly do not know what model Oliver rake this is, unless it's an early 2, which is a possibility, but it'd have to be really early to be missing that much stuff. But I know it never had a windshield on it because the holes to mount it aren't even in the frame. So it's not like it got taken off, it was never there. So that one's throwing me for a loop. I haven't figured that out. And on this one's old enough, they didn't put any steel tags on them. The model number would have just been painted on it. So but we can keep on. We'll finish walking down this road real quick. That is a McCormick Deering binder, because it's red, so I know it's not a Deere. Seems like all the binders you find are either McCormick Deering or Deere. This one I also believe is a Deering, judging by the wheels. Oh, nope, I'll be damned, that's a Case. Got the Case Eagle sitting on the globe. Don't see many of them. That guy's spreading the corn stalks from the sheller. They shell corn here too. Silo filler, sorghum press, New Idea hay loader. This looks like the same one I got, in a lot better shape. Pretty sure that's the same New Idea hay loader I got. It's just this one had a lot better life, although it's rusted out in the same spot mine is, at the bottom of the hay rack. And then a really nice condition Minneapolis Moline sheller. I think this one might be a 1200, and it's a little older than that. Model E, which should be the one that the 1200 replaced. And then a 5-bottom Oliver big base trip plow. This one, I've already looked at it, it's new enough, it's got the 3-piece bottom, so this one would have been probably late Oliver 90, Oliver 99 vintage. That's what you would have been pulling this thing with, because there wouldn't have been a row crop big enough at that time. At least in the Oliver world. Well, there wouldn't have been any row crop of any make big enough to pull it at that time, but in the Oliver world, your wheatlands would have been a a 90 or a 99. And we got a couple more rows of tractors and some trucks. You still back there?
Yeah.
I gotta give Teeter credit. She's doing fairly well. The only time we've had any issues is when she sees other dogs. When she sees other dogs, she wants to bark. She's not being mean. She just wants to go play. Because she'll bark, 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 and then she gets up to him, she rolls over on her back and submits, because she's a lover, not a fighter. Aren't ya? We'll come back to that old Apache here in a minute. That one, holy cow, that's a nice truck. We'll come back to that. Alice WC in full steel, unstyled WC in full steel. If anybody's looking for an 1105 Massey, this one's for sale. You can have it for 8,500 bucks. There's your phone number. It's actually a pretty straight tractor. Not too far from home. It was sold out of the Porter County Co-op in Valparaiso. Moline G. Farmall A power unit. Or Super A. They're hard to tell. Also for sale. I take that back, it's not a Farmall, it's a Continental. But I'll be damned if it doesn't look like Farmall sheet metal. And then this is a hay conditioner, a very early one. And I want to say it's IH, but that logo on the side did not look like an IH logo. Meyer Manufacturing, Morton, Illinois. Little John Deere H. Here's your either a WD or a WD-45 gas, but either way you can tell the difference. That diesel, the grill's out here, and then this one's back here, so you got the chin. And this is a really nice old binder. It's even four-wheel drive, which makes it even rarer. S120. The only thing I see wrong with it is obviously this window's broke, and then that vent window on the other side's broke. Other than that, this girl is, I wouldn't touch this thing with a can of paint. No way, no how. I'd love to have a truck like this just to cruise around in. I wonder if this thing was set up as like a grass rig or something, and they had some sort of control coming through there, because that's flame cut, that's not rust. Because a grass truck would explain the four-wheel drive. And then here's one for the Mopar fans. Don't see very many Dodges this vintage. want to add another tractor to my list of tractors I want. I want a little John Deere H, just because they are cute as hell. It'd be cool to take around with a 60. That one's even got hydraulics. That's a rare option. It's got to be a late one. But it's a hand start H with hydraulics. So it's not a late one, it's an early one. That's kind of neat. And then this Apache, my God. Straight 6. Someone's got some time in this old girl. I'd hate to think just what he's got in chrome. The steering wheel kind of ruins it a little bit though. God, that's a nice truck. I think there's actually, let's walk up this way. I think there's more up here by the fence. Apparently this is a Model A club because it looks like it's all Model A's. It'd be cool to have one of these too, and I'm a Chevy guy. Who am I kidding? I need a Chevy sedan. I actually know where there's one at. I doubt they'd ever sell it though. Cool. Oh, he's got chrome. That one's go fast. Automatic transmission. Oh yeah, that's not even a Model A engine. That would make more sense. Is that a little, see, little 4-cylinder something? I got to admit that's a clean conversion, because at first glance, I mean, if you're a Model A guy, you'd probably look right at it and go, but at a first glance, somebody that's not around this stuff all the time, it took me a second to realize what the hell was going on. A little Volkson Wagon if you enjoy the people's car. '52 Willys M38. If I could find one of these things before I bought a side-by-side, I would never buy a side-by-side. I just have this. It's the original side-by-side. And it would outlast any side-by-side. Chevy sedan. Style Master. It's got a... Nope, I was hoping it had a date on the plate. There's no... They don't make cars look like this that look like this anymore. Everything now is just cookie cutter ugly.
Guys, they'll punch them out and get from 40 horsepower to 60 horsepower. Remember the one at the Bridge Festival? The guy sitting in my car?
Convertible with a rumble seat.
Yeah. Me too.
Another convertible. These are just so damn cool. And then a delivery truck. (1928) plate. So this is their feature area, and I got to admit, I'm kind of impressed at the turnout of Cockshuts and co-ops. This is pretty impressive. This is what I want. I want a 570 diesel, but I want a regular wide front, not a Wheatland wide front. Co-op number 1. 50 gas. This is a 40 diesel. I don't know what it is about Cockshuts, but they just tended to survive in a lot better shape than most other tractors. Like, a lot of these tractors here are original, and they survive looking like this. I don't know if they used some sort of Superman paint or what.
That's not enough to go to a 40.
It's like a 30 turnaround. Yep. Someone needed a loader tractor. Apparently they still do the tractor. They must have moved the pulling track. 560 diesel. I just love this series, the 500 series. This is my favorite Cockshut styling. I mean, all Cockshuts are sharp. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I don't care what color you collect. If you can't agree that these aren't good looking tractors, you're nuts. But the square hoods, those are hands down my favorite. Oh, that's it right there. This is what I want. 570 super diesel row crop wide front. This is a tractor I want right here. That's it. She's the one. The way they've got these guys arranged kind of makes it hard to video up here though. Oh, that's weird. Oliver. It's even got the Cull, or KUIP chippers. Gilman. Yeah, because that's how you start a tractor. No oil pressure, balls to the walls. But he's got a chrome straight pipe, it makes it okay. This old girl's a sweetheart too. 50 diesel Wheatland. Nope, it's a row crop with Wheatland fenders. John Deere liquefier. Don't see too many of them.
I told Shelly I was going to get her one of these for doing laundry.
They had this running earlier.
$180 RPM, 22.5 horse.
Massey Harris. Didn't know they made hit and miss. Oh, another Massey. I'll be damned. Did not know Massey Harris made hit and miss engines. And then that's a United. This is a really nice old SS14. The only thing it's missing is the grill section, which is common with the rock box, which is not that common. Here's their corn crib with a big old Kiowani, yeah, 660s. That's a 60-foot elevator. That's a big guy. This is what I was looking, not necessarily a 660, but I was looking for a Kiowani before I bought mine just because they look cool. We'll do them garden tractors here in a hot minute. Kind of sheller we running. Ottawa. Pretty good looking old D17. She's straight. Series 4. Homemade corn cob shredder. Going into a new idea spreader. This one must be thinking that's a touch older than mine, just by judging by the way it's built. Pretty good looking little economies. This thing's neat. If I remember, it's just called Kitty Track, I think. Don't quote me on that. I've seen them before. This one's neat. Loader, hydraulic angle snow blade, and a backhoe. That truck's got some pretty hefty looking wheels and axles for the year. Must be good for putting kids to sleep. That little guy is out. Must be about a 50, 60 horse case, I'm guessing. Get out of his blind spot here. .65 horse case. They were running the sawmill with this earlier. I couldn't figure out. Oh, that's a case too. 30 horse. Just a little guy. I mean, that one's almost so tiny you wouldn't even think it's not homemade. I mean, it's tiny. Honestly, it's physically not any bigger than like a 77 or an 88. I'm sure it weighs a lot more, but... And then a case 30 horse stationary. Well, I guess they call it a portable. Really nice old oil pull. Made right here in LaPorte, Model X. She's not too far from home. It's been uprated from 700 to 725 RPM. 40, 25, 40 on the belt, 25 on the drawbar. Little half scale. With a little half scale sawmill. That's badass. That's neat. That's running a regular circular saw blade. Someone's got some time in that. The whole rig. This is, man, we're heavy on the case steamers, another 65. This is the all original version of that one that drove by. Got some Let's burr mills. Used to be basically feed grinders. Their dyno area, unfortunately, they're not running anything right now. Wish I'd have brought something because we'd be on a dyno right now. Then we got a Minneapolis on the sawmill. Running like a sewing machine. It's like a 2244 rating tag is there behind the light. They've got a tinier mill here, but it's well set up. Fortunately, they're not running just right now. Nice little C50. Oh, they're milling cedar. It smells good. Or they have been milling cedar. Got a little Case Military over here. Another oil pull. What are we looking at here? No tag. And no paper. And it can't be much. Gotta be around the same size as that one over there. And then this is a Case 540C Air Force. Date shipped March 1967. Date manufactured March of 1967. 2,500 pound pulling capacity. At least I'm assuming the AF stands for Air Force. Yeah, right there. U.S. Air Force. They were thrashing this morning when we got here. You can tell the critters have been getting into it because the outside stocks are have been chewed on. But it's actually some, I found a wagon load in the barn. It's actually some really nice looking wheat. All right, we're back. That was a very nice little show. I think it deserves to be a lot bigger than what it actually is, and I think their biggest thing they're lacking is decent advertising, because nobody around here really knows about the show. And when I talked about going, everybody's like, a show what, where? So if you're in northern Indiana, southwest Michigan, heck, even northern Illinois, wouldn't be that bad of a drive to get there. You'd probably be within an hour. Not even an hour of Chicago. Very nice little show, easy to spend a day there. Sorry I didn't get any video of the field demonstrations. They kind of start, because of the size of their grounds, they kind of limit the field demonstrations to later in the afternoon when the crowd's the biggest, which is understandable, but we had to get home because we got another thing we got going tonight, so I didn't stay for that. But the downside to that show, I'm not even going to say it that way because that's a poor way to put it. If you wanted to take something to that show and do a field demonstration, like they plow, they disc, they drag, basically any tillage operation that you want to do, they'll do it there. And then corn picking and chopping stalks, belting up to the, you can belt up to the thrasher, you can belt up to the sawmill. You got opportunities to do stuff. The only thing is you have to be a member of the club to do that stuff, which it didn't used to be that way. When last time I was down there, it was anybody who brought something that wanted to do something, they could do it. But I went to their sign-up booth because I wanted to ask some questions about possibly taking something down there next time and kind of get a feel for what was going on. And basically it sounds like the reason they had to go to that was because of their insurance, which, typical of the days we're living in, sue happy idiots got to ruin it for everybody. But I can understand why they do that. It probably keeps their insurance rates lower, and it's a small show, they can only do so much. But it's $15 to join the club. I think, honestly, I might actually join the club. I might pay the $15 and go into, because I talked to her and she said they really love to have, they're always looking for people to help out, but because of the insurance reasons, they can't just take random volunteers. You have to be a club member because insurance. It all comes back to their damn insurance. But for $15, you could go down there and help out, do anything you want. If you wanted to help with the corn sheller, if you wanted to pitch bundles onto the thrashing machine, if you wanted to run the carriage on the sawmill, or if once you're a member, you could go down there and you could basically do anything you want. They'll let you help out anywhere doing anything, which I don't think is a bad deal. I mean, it'd be kind of badass to take something down there and belt it up to the thrasher or belt it up to the sawmill. Anybody can jump on the dynos. You don't got to be a club member for that. So if you just took a tractor and you wanted to dyno it, you could take a tractor down there. I didn't look at the models of their dyno, but I would assume that they were only 540 PTO machines, so they probably limited to about 100 horse, give or take, depending on what model of dyno they were. But anyhow, excellent little show. Flea market area wasn't really big, but it was good stuff. It was like there was actual tractor parts, and there was toy vendors there. This was my prize for the day. It's a little cockshut 1755 scale models, which they have. This one's probably, I'm gonna guess, late 80s, early 90s, because Scale Models hasn't used this casting in years. They actually had an Oliver 1955 narrow front, basically the same casting, but it had the different rear, or the wider plastic rear wheels. And I almost bought that till I picked it up and was looking at it and noticed that one of the tires on the rear wheels was split from a age crack, and I was like, I really don't need it that bad. So I mean, the flea market, while being small, was actually a decent flea market that you would expect. There was tools, there was tractor parts, there was garden tractor parts, small engines, farm toys, and then they actually had a arts and crafts market, but they moved that to a separate area, so if that wasn't your thing, you didn't have to go through all that shit. That was really good. There was, oh my god, if you wanted to pay for diabetes, there was probably at least a dozen bakeries there that had booths. Oh my god. I probably could have spent $150 on cookies and shit up there. It was, I mean, there was this one place that had cookies that looked like pancakes. So, and the food vendors, there was probably at least a dozen food trucks there. We had some pulled pork there that was excellent, and it was cheap. I mean, it was $20 to feed the both of us, and I got a pulled pork sandwich, a big bowl of homemade macaroni and cheese, and a big pile of coleslaw. And then Shelly got basically the unbun version. It was macaroni and cheese and pulled pork mixed together in a bowl. And I mean, I couldn't finish mine. It was so much food. I had to give some to Teeter. But I mean, it was just an excellent little show. It's really easy to get to. It's basically on the corner of 49 and 6. What would that be? Just kind of, I think, just a little west or a little north of Valparaiso, wherever that ends up. Just south of Chesterton, Indiana on 49. Like I say, super easy to get to. Really excellent, well-kept grounds. Some really cool buildings. Really nice equipment. Really friendly people. I mean, the whole show was just, you couldn't judge that one on its size. I mean, that show, they have the facilities, and that show deserves to be a whole lot bigger. So any of you guys that live in the area, never been to it or never heard about it, I highly suggest you put that one on your calendar for next year, because that show really needs to blow up. It's basically a little northern Indiana version of Rantoul with the stuff you could do. The downside is you got to be a club member because of their insurance. But like I say, I can completely understand a club that small is probably not easy for them to get insurance in the first place. So just the fact that they're allowed to do field demonstrations and stuff like that in front of spectators is kudos to them. And the secretary I was talking to, she couldn't have been much, she was young, she had to have been younger than me. She couldn't have been much more in early 20s. And she said most of the leadership of the club right now is early 20s, not much older than 30. So it's a very young club. They are trying very hard to make that show kid oriented. They had pony rides for the kids. They had a bounce house. They had a inflatable rock wall. I mean, there was a bunch of stuff there oriented for kids to try to get them there and get them interested. I mean, if you wanted to do a show to get the younger generation involved and keep the older guys happy and make it a good show for everybody, them guys are doing it right down there. That is an excellent little show, and I will be going back next year. And next year I'm going to be taking tractors, and I very well may be joining the club so that I can help out in the thrashing machine and the sawmill and do all that stuff, because that right there is a show worth growing. And I'm going to count on you guys because we can help that. So I'm calling on you, put that show on your calendar for next year. Northern Indiana Historic Power Association. I'll link their website down in the description. Let's help them guys out. Let's do them some good. So anyhow, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one, because I got another video I got to get done today, and you'll be seeing this one tomorrow. So anyway, catch you later.